Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jelly from Last War here with yet another video, and I just want to say thank you all so much for your support on the last few videos. Thank you so much for your subscriptions, your comments, and everything else. It truly does mean a lot to me that you guys would spend your time listening and watching my videos, and commenting is a huge way that I have really come to appreciate you guys. Having dialogue and communicating with you guys has been honestly a pleasure to have. And on top of that, we're already almost halfway to 1,000 subscribers, and that's always been a dream of mine to have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we're that close. So thank you all again. I appreciate it. And let's get into today's video. Today's topic is all about drone chips. Everything drone chip related, how to get them, everything, what they are, how to use them, etc. Now, this is a continuation of my previous drone video. If you guys recall, I said that I would have a video designated to drone chips, and I wasn't lying, and it's time for that video now. So let's touch on what they are, how they work, everything about them, and we'll go into detail a little bit. So we'll start here. When you get the drone chips unlocked in your server, you're going to have a new building called the Chip Lab. Now, you're going to want to level this up to 20, but you're not going to want to level it beyond that. Now, just like with the gear, as I talked about in my gear guide, obviously orange is the best and you pretty much only want orange on everything. However, unlike the gear guide, the purple ones are still useful here. Now, each hero specification has their own type of chips. So you have chips for aircraft, you have chips for missiles, and you have chips for tank. In order to make a purple chip, you need 400 of the purple basic chip material, and in order to make one orange, you need 800 of the premium chip material. So orange is obviously a lot more expensive than purple. Now, when it comes to it, as I was already showing you, there is 4 different types of chips. You have the offensive skill chip, you have the interference skill chip, you have the defensive skill chip, and you have the initial move skill chip. I'm going to go a little bit into detail about what each one is right over here in this chip lab. So I'm going to use aircraft as my example, and that's because I'm running an air squad. So I will touch on what each chip does and the difference in them. So let's start with the orange chips. The absolute quantum field, the aircraft initial move skill chip, is going to be the first orange one. Now, if you want to know what it is, you just click on it and it tells you everything of what it does. So this one, at the beginning of the battle, your aircraft heroes gain a shield with a fixed value of 200,000 for 9 seconds. Once it's all gone, all damage received is reduced by 4%. So this is essentially an extra bout of defense, or as this would say, a shield. Now this essentially just gives your hero extra HP and extra defense, at least of that type. So again, with this being an aircraft, this only applies to aircraft heroes. As we go over to the Lethal Firestorm, which is the offensive skill chip for the aircraft heroes, it says when the drone bombs, your aircraft heroes gain 3% attack boost, lasting 3 seconds. The drone bombing hits 1 more targets. So essentially what this means is all of your heroes are getting an offensive skill boost of 3%, meaning they're doing 3% more damage for about 3 seconds, and the drone bombing hits 1 more targets, meaning that your drone is actually hitting another hero. Now here with the Memory Ultra Fission, which is the interference skill, if you click on it, it tells you when the drone bombs, your back row aircraft heroes get a 4% damage increase. At the same time, reduce the damage of all enemy tactics by 3% for 3 seconds. Now obviously we already know what 4% damage buff does to your back row heroes, meaning that they're all doing 4% more damage. But it says, at the same time, reduce the damage of all enemy tactics by 3% for 3 seconds. Now, essentially what this means is that when you have this equipped, let's say you're facing off against Kim for just an example here. If you click on her tactics ability, it tells you what it does. Fire 8 rockets at random enemies, yada yada. You can go read this. I already did in the heroes a little bit. I didn't go too in depth, and I probably will in the future. But regardless, if you click on it, she has a skill called Tactics. Tactics is the hero's ultimate skill with a decisive impact. The cooldown interval of Tactics is affected by the cooldown time reduction. Now, essentially what this means is that her special ability is considered tactic. And it's not just her, it's everybody else's. Their special abilities are called tactics. Now, as we read here with this, it does reduce the damage of all enemy tactics by 3%, meaning that the strongest thing that attacking heroes can do, their special ability, is even weaker now due to this chip. And finally, we go over to the Gravitational Resonance Armor. Aircraft Edition. At the beginning of the battle, your aircraft heroes gain 8.5% defense boost, and your front row gains an extra 15% defense boost until the battle ends. Now, this is huge, and this gives you such a huge strategic advantage when it comes to fighting people. Your defensive heroes are now all of a sudden just extra beefy. This is taking a quarter of your hero's overall defense and then just adding that onto their full base stats. Now, these chips are pretty much the same across the board. I don't even think there's a slight variation. Maybe I'm wrong. I think that they're all the same. At least for the orange ones, they're all the same. When it comes to the purple ones, they're literally the orange ones, just like 10 times worse. Now, that's not to say that they're not usable, because they definitely are usable, and I'm personally using the purple chips until I have orange for my entire thing. And definitely, you're going to want one of each type for your squad. So if you're running a missile squad, you're going to want to grab one of each type of chip. As I can show you here, what my skill chips looks like, I have 2 orange and 2 purple. I don't think it really makes a difference in which order you do them. I personally prefer to just go for the initial move skill first, and I always try to go for offensive skill second. And then I'll probably go for the defensive skill third, and then finally I'll go for the interference skill. It doesn't really make a difference which order you do it, so if you've done it a little bit different than me, or you want to do it a little bit different, it doesn't make much of a difference, but that's just the way that I do it. Now, since I only have 1 chip that's leveled up, I'll show you exactly what this looks like. Now, obviously, you'd prefer to level orange chips because orange chips are so much better than purple in pretty much every category. This is how you can level your chips. If you go to your chip lab, you click inventory, it shows you what chips you have. I'll show you this one, for example. I have 2 stars, meaning that I've leveled this twice. As you can see here, if you go to the star overview, it tells you how many stars I've gained on it. You can go all the way down to 10. And the same thing with a skill boost, except you can only go down to 5. It is the exact same way with the orange ones as it is the purple, as you can see here. But as you can see here on this screen, when you actually click on your drone, if you click over here on your drone, you click skill chip, and let's say you have this one that you want to level up. You click ascend. It shows you exactly what you need in order to ascend it. Now, in order to ascend, you need an extra one. So you have this one and then plus 1 more. So you should have 2 of them, and then it'll bring you up to level 2, etc., all the way down to the end. So you need, it's just like decorations. As you can see here with decorations, if you click on any of them, it says you need blank out of 6. So in this instance, I have 4 out of 6, meaning I need 2 more to level it up to level 3. That is going to be exactly how it is with skill chips across the board, purple or gold alike. Now you'll see here something I haven't really touched on. When it comes to ascending, it doesn't only just increase this power or this power, but it does increase exactly like increasing drone components. So for the first star, your shield value increased to 400k. It was originally at 200k, but if you level it up, it's now 400. Then the second one is going to be a buff to that specific skill chip. So what that means is, yeah, the 200k, that's pretty base, but the 4%, that is the skill. That is what we call the skill here. The 200k is just kind of a blanket thing, and as you can see here, you're going to get a lot more buffs to that overall defense versus the skill. You'll only get 3 to the skill, and you'll get 7 to the actual shield buff. And it's going to be like that across the board with every single one of these. If you click on the preview and you go down, it's only going to be 3 for the actual skill. Now the reason for that is because obviously skills are more important than base stats. So the first priority of yours, instead of leveling anything up, just like when it comes to gear, you should be trying to get at least 1 orange chip for each of these slots. Purple isn't bad, but it is just pretty much a placeholder until you can actually get an orange into that slot. Now, along with drone chips, there also comes this tactical drone combat boost that you get. So if you click quick add, it'll have stuff that you can get, such as drone XP or other drone parts. Now, this is a separate leveling from your actual drone level or your components. So you already had these 2, and I already have an in-depth video about what these 2 do. But if you come over here to the tactical drone, this is a completely different ordeal. Now, what the combat boost does is it allows you to add chip skills or have better skills added to your chips. It also gives you more chip presets, but that's honestly not that big of a deal because most players that are watching this are only going to have 1 set of chips for their squad because a lot of them don't really prioritize past their first squad, which is not what you should be, only focusing on your first squad. You'll see here it's kind of important to get this leveled up because it chip skill boost increased to +1, +2, all the way down to +5. And then finally down here, attributes significantly increased from level 751 to 900. Drone power can increase by over 2 million in total. So that's way later on. As you can see here, I'm not even level 100 yet, but way later on, I'll get to that. Now, what this does is what you can do here. If you click on this and you click on this little add thing and you click, oh yeah, sure. You know what? I don't want to use this missile. If I click confirm and I add that, it levels up my drone. So excess chips, excess drone data, excess drone XP, which came from this. If you click on this, you'll see drone combat boost EXP card. I have a few of those, and also there's other ways that you can get that in the future. All sorts of stuff that adds up into this. So I'll take out my tank one because I don't really care for tank right now. I'll click add and I'll click promote. And that brought me all the way up to level 89, which boost my power significantly. So not only do you have the skill chips that I've already gone over, but you also have this combat boost thing. Now you might be asking, well, how do I get the chips and combat boost? Well, there's actually quite a few ways. To go over the first one, which is kind of the main way that you're going to get it, is you're going to get these choice chests or just chip chests in general. Now obviously the UR skill chip chest is the best. The SSR is obviously second best. Choice chest actually is probably second best, and then the normal one is going to be second best or third best. The SR is probably going to be fourth best, and R is going to be fifth. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the rarities. Obviously, as we discussed, orange is best. And what happens is each chest gives you a chance at getting an orange. And it obviously goes higher the higher you get. However, if you click on this skill chip chest and it shows you have a 2% or a 0.2% chance of getting any orange out of this. You have a 4.8% chance of getting any purple, 30% to get blue, and 65% to get green. You should never, ever, ever have these equipped to your drone. It should always be purple or higher, preferably orange. So all of these excess chips or extra stuff that you're going to get out of these drone chests, that is what you're going to be using to upgrade this. And honestly, I'm going to walk back my statement. I said that the chip choice chest might be second best. I think it might just be the skill chip chest. The normal one is probably second best versus the choice chest. Because with the choice chest, you don't have a chance of getting anything orange. But with this one, you do actually have a chance at getting something orange, a decent chance at that. So these chests, you're going to want to open on day 1 of VS. So your first day, which should always be drone day, or radar training day. If you come here, it tells you right here at the bottom, for each chip chest opened and 1 premium chip material gained, you get points. So save all of your chip chests until day 1 of VS. Now, when it comes to these types of chests, just like drone component boxes, there is so many ways that you can earn stuff, even just to get the skill chips created. If you come over here to the skill lab, you'll see that you can create a chip with 800, as I already discussed earlier. You can earn these through VS, you can earn them through daily stuff, you can earn them pretty much through any event. Now, if I come here to VS and I click on the final box, you'll see that down here I get 10 premium chip material. And that may not seem like a lot, but you also get 10 from the last box and the first one and the last box and the second one. So all in all, you get 30 overall premium drone chip thingy, whatever you want to call that. I'm not going to keep correcting myself because I can't remember what it's called. You're going to get 30 premium chip materials just by unlocking all 9 chests. And that does add up over time. And after about 10 days, it puts you at 300. After about 20 days, it puts you at 600. And after about 26 or 27 days, you're going to have enough to make a skill chip, a premium one at that. That's just one of the ways that you can earn the material. And if you come over here to your shops after this all unlocks, you'll see that there's plenty of different ways that you can buy it as well. For example, if you're rolling in diamonds and you have 8,000 that you want to spend on skill chip chests, you can go ahead and buy 10 of those. In the Alliance store, that'll update too, and you'll be able to buy some SR skill chip chests here as well. And you'll also be able to buy Drone Combat Boost EXP cards. I do recommend buying those out every week. In the Honor store, we do have the skill chip chest UR. I don't recommend it mainly because you get a guaranteed chance at this and you get 100 premium chip material. However, I still recommend only buying the gear blueprints in this store. And finally, the campaign store, you can also buy skill chip chests, but you have 2 options here, R and SSR. You can also buy the basic chip material. I do recommend buying all 3 out each week. So there you can see that you can buy them. And as I was saying a couple of different times, if you click on this chest and you click on information, it shows you what you can get. But if you also see this, you will also get premium chip material times 30. So between your Alliance dual chest boxes and also between buying all these skill chip chests, you're going to be able to get different materials and everything is going to add up over time. Now that's pretty important because it is not easy and it is not cheap to get these. You can technically buy it if you want out of the daily must buy. You can buy the daily drone skill chip, which is actually not a bad buy if you want me to be honest, for $5. It's not horrible. But the same thing here over the weekly deal, you'll see for $50 you can buy the weekly drone skill chip. I think that this is slightly worse, and not slightly, I think that this is quite a bit worse than the other one, but I don't think that this is the worst thing that you can buy. I definitely think anything drone related is a decent purchase. I don't think it's worth it to buy anything if you're just trying to get battle data, but for everything else, I do think that these are all worth it. And that's pretty much the overall way to actually earn the stuff to get the chests and unlock this and unlock that. Everything overall is just earned after time and week in and week out. So to pretty much summarize what drone skill chips are, is they are an extra buff or they're an extra help to increase your combat power, to increase your damage, to increase your defense, to increase your special ability. Drone chips essentially just buff your abilities. And I know it may seem small or like a nuance at first, but it definitely becomes a huge deal to help you grow and help you become more powerful. The better your drone skill chips and the better your understanding of this, and obviously the more time that you spend in this, just like your drone overall, is going to help you become a much better player. And with this entire game being based around war and being based around combat, obviously this is really important. So I'm going to touch on one more last thing is you can see here that after you get your combat boost up to certain levels, you unlock chip presets. And I know that I said most people aren't going to be worried about it, but if you click here, you'll see skill chip presets right down here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these are unlocked after each level. So if you do have 4 good squads, you can set your aircraft to be aircraft, you can set the second one to be tank, you can set the third one to be missile, and if your fourth one is primarily aircraft or primarily tank, you can set that one to be aircraft or tank as well. Now, if you're focusing on just one, all you need is one of each type. So you just need one of gold for whatever your squad may be. So mine's aircraft again. I'll have all 4 aircraft, and I probably won't ever craft another gold outside of that. Or if I do, I'm going to dump all of it into these chips. So I'll just craft another absolute quantum field for my aircraft instead of worrying about a tank one, because I want my aircraft to be as strong as possible. And if I craft a second one of these, then I can obviously level this up. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Do I want to have 4 different presets for all of my squads, or do I want to focus heavily on my first squad and make my first squad such a heavy hitter that it doesn't really make a difference? My priority will always be setting your squad 1 as the overall behemoth or power creator for you. So to summarize, get these chips, get all orange here, and then focus strictly on just upgrading the orange chips. Don't worry about the purple. Purple's fine to start with, but get all gold as soon as possible. If you already have all 4 chips, then try to grab an extra chip of this so that way you can level this up, and once it's leveled up, obviously it increases your power. And that, in my opinion, is so much more important than trying to worry about having one of each different skill chip for each different type of squad, even though you're never going to touch missiles. I know that this video was not perfect, but I thank you all so much for reaching to the end of the video. If you have any more questions, please do ask in the comments below. I definitely know I could have done a much better job explaining, but drone skill chips are probably one of the more confusing things that I can understand in this game. Once again, thank you all so much for your support and love, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.